And we're back here on the Metro South Morning Show, PM in the AM here on WXBR. Joining me now via the telephone is a man who is best known for being the frontman for the very popular alternative rock band 311. However, on October the 1st, he will be releasing his first solo album, My Shadow Pages. Joining us right now via the telephone is Nick Hexum. Nick, thank you so much for joining us back on the program once again.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
Nick, last time we had you on the show, we talked about 311 and their tour with Cypress Hill and G Love. We talked about the forthcoming 311 album, which you guys have released in 2014, hopefully, and the forthcoming 311 Day. We made no mention of this solo release. Tell us, when did you get the idea to do some solo music, and how did you find the time to do it with all of your ventures with 311?
Well, it just happened organically. It wasn't like any big decision. It came from me working on my guitar playing quite a bit, and then my brother Zach and I had just kind of been kicking around the idea of having a just for fun kind of jam band where we do jazzy funk and just kind of throw and go. And we've been doing that just for fun, at a rehearsal room. And then we were like, man, let's make an album out of this. So it just kind of happened one step at a time, just for free, for fun and for free. You know what I mean? Like just having an attitude like just for art. And I am busy with 311, but there's still plenty of months to do side projects. And I was inspired that S.A. from our band had done a side project with his band Ghost Wolf, and I just thought it was a good way to express other sounds that don't really fit perfectly in the 311 world.
There is a distinctive sound to a lot of 311 songs. What separates this album from anything you've done with 311?
Well, it's more keyboard-oriented. We've got my brother Zach plays amazing piano, as well as saxophone and some rhythm guitar. And then we've got a dedicated Hammond B3 organ player. He plays clavinet and Wurlitzer. So right there, that's a lot more keyboards than you ever hear in 311. And then the guitar tones is more of a jazzy kind of funk thing. It's not a heavy, there's energy, but it's not a heavy energy. So it's kind of more of a retro 60s and 70s funk sound.
Once again, we're chatting with Nick Hexum here on WXBR, releasing his solo album on October 1st, My Shadow Pages. Nick, you often hear at times when bands have members of the group who'd go and do a side project. Some bands say this is a good thing, allow them to get their creative energies elsewhere in places that might not have fit within their main band. And then you see other bands that seem to take it as it detracts from something that the main band is doing. How did your band members in 311 react to this project of yours?
Supportive. They were like, yeah, sounds cool. Go for it. And I was just careful to have the scheduling be respectful to 311, which is everybody's main focus. That's our life's work. So this is just kind of fit in what would be the downtime outside of the 311 schedule. But everyone was really supportive, and I do think it takes off pressure off of 311 to have other outlets. So if we only had 311 as an outlet, then if there was a song that maybe I liked that the other guys didn't, then it would be like, oh, I guess no one's ever going to get to hear it, or I have to fight to get it in 311. Now I just can put it out on my own.
311 is a band that basically gets played on every rock radio station in the country. Is it nice to not have the pressure on you to create radio rock singles and whatnot?
Yeah, well, that was kind of what the title, My Shadow Pages, is alluding to, that I had done it without anybody knowing that I was doing it. I did it very much in the shadows, so there was absolutely no pressure, no expectations, and basically if it barely only sells a few copies, it's okay, because it's just more of a fun thing. So.
Now, you're releasing this on your own record label, correct?
That's right.
What's the difference between self-financing it and going the major label route, and what do you enjoy more, having done both at this point?
Well, having the fact that I was being the band leader and the label and paying for it myself, it made it so I recorded kind of in a hurry. Like, we did the whole record in 5 days of studio time, which normally we would take 5 months to do a major label album. which made it so there was a lot less re-recording. It was just throw and go and trust the process and trust the band members' decisions. And so that made it different right there, the fact it was recorded very quickly. And then now it's been fun for me to be more involved in the business, to hire a publicist and find a good distributor, and just doing a lot of it myself. Like, I'm planning on doing some gigs, but I don't even have a guitar tech. I'm just going to carry my own amp and guitar and plug it in and let's go. You know, it's, for me, it's kind of like starting over in a way on this project, and that's fun because it's been so long since I kind of started from scratch.
Is it more rewarding knowing that you're involved in every facet of the project, not just the art and the musicality?
Yeah, you know, I have a passion for it. I tweet a lot about it. Follow me at Nick Hexum on Twitter if you like. And yeah, it's fun to be in that in the driver's seat. And it's kind of from the approach of, you know, in the 60s they'd have a jazz quintet or quartet. They'd have a band leader that was kind of hiring the guys and calling the shots. And I've never had that experience until now.
We're chatting with Nick Hexum here on WXBR, and we've referred to this as a solo project, yet it's technically the Nick Hexum Quintet. Tell us about some of the different folks on this album outside of your brother, whom you've already mentioned.
Well, I met this young guy at Musicians Institute. That and Berkeley are a couple of great places to find musicians. And in fact, the drummer I'm with now went to school in Boston at Berkeley. And but I found this Colombian kid, Andres Rebellion, which is such a cool rock and roll name. Basically, Andrew Rebellion would be the translation of his name. And he plays bass. And then Gary Novak played drums, and he is one of the top session guys in the whole music biz. And he's a killer drummer. And then my brother Zach plays sax and keyboards and rhythm guitar and wrote a lot of the songs with me. And then this guy Chops is the keyboard player, and his name's Luke Miller, but we call him Chops because he's got some awesome sideburns. Those are Chops, and also his keyboard playing is amazing. So Chops has a double meaning.
Always good to have a guy in the band with good hair, Nick, right?
Absolutely.
We're chatting with Nick Hexum here on AM 1460, the new WXBR. You mentioned earlier hiring a guitar tech for some shows or maybe just doing it yourself. Are you going to tour on this record? Are you going to hit some dates around the country?
You know, people have been requesting that, and I definitely want to do that when it fits in nicely to 311's schedule. Right now, we've just got 3 gigs planned in the LA area at the Hotel Cafe, which I think are sold out now, and just playing 3 Sundays in October. So we're just going to try that out. Everything has been so organic and just kind of take it a step at a time. So once those are done, then we're going to kind of take it from there. And I'd love to get to Boston, New York, Atlanta, play that side of the country. And we have, you know, tons of fans there. So I'm looking forward to that, hopefully.
We talked about how hands-on you are in this project. How easier is it to be as hands-on with this project as it is circa 2013, say as it was when 311 first started, with all of the technology that is available to consumers, not just prosumers, when it comes to both recording and distributing music for your independent label?
Yeah, you know, what's cool is that it's kind of come full circle, because in the early days of 311 in 90 and 91, before we got signed in 92, I was managing the band, and I had my own What Have You Records, which is that's the name of my imprint that's putting out the quintet. But I also, back in those days, did everything I was like our one employee and taking the CDs down to local stores in Omaha. So it was, of course, very different, because now everything is electronic, and there was really no widespread internet at the time. So it was very different, but now I'm hands-on in another way, but it's 23 years later.
Once again, we're chatting with Nick Hexum here on AM 1460, the new WXBR frontman for 311, who will be releasing his first solo album, My Shadow Pages, on October the 1st. I would imagine that as a solo project, you'd be playing significantly smaller venues than you'd be playing with 311, as you guys played the Comcast Center with Cypress Hill and G Love last time you came around to our neck of the woods. Do you like playing the intimate small venues better than the big, large arenas and amphitheaters, and does it give you a deeper of appreciation for what you have with 311?
Yeah, it's I love playing outside, and we always have great shows at those amphitheaters, particularly like in Boston. But this is going to be an exciting challenge to play small places. The ones that we're booked for now hold like 175 people, so it's more of just kind of a bar, small club setting. So I haven't done that in a while, though we did play a couple warm-up shows at the Roxy in LA before our last cruise, and that was exciting. But this is even like half the size of that, so it is going to be new and pretty cool.
Originally from Omaha, Nebraska, you now make your home in Los Angeles. I can't think of two places that are more far apart in terms of the culture. Do you miss Omaha, Nebraska ever, or do you like the gritty feel of Los Angeles?
Well, I live out by the beach and where it's not crowded, out kind of north of LA. So I've always been an outdoorsy kind of person, and that's something that just kind of clicked from growing up in Omaha and going out in the woods and building forts. And I mean, I've always just been an outdoorsy kind of person. So though I did live in Hollywood for a while, I was just kind of naturally gravitating towards getting out into more of the country. So
that's the way to go, living north of LA, in my opinion. I tell people who want to get involved in entertainment who are thinking about moving to LA not to go. I think that place is overcrowded with too many people with the same dream, and you see a lot of people just wind up not in good situations. Would you agree with that assessment or no? Am I dead wrong?
Well, I guess if they're so ambivalent that you could talk them out of it, they're probably not going to be successful, because you have to be so hell-bent and so aggressive, because you are going to be told no over and over again. So, I remember a couple people trying to talk me out of pursuing music because it was the odds were against me, blah, blah, blah. And I wasn't hearing it. So you definitely have to be ready for a lot of rejection. And I don't think you can build up a following anywhere now in this day and age. So moving to the big city is not necessary.
I think you nailed it right in the head. In this day and age with social media and whatnot, you gave out your Twitter handle earlier. You can build up a following through mediums like that in YouTube just as well as you could playing bars and being one of many bands in the like, say, in Los Angeles. I hope I didn't sound like the jerk trying to crush people's dreams.
No, like I said, they have to want it so bad that their dream couldn't be crushed. So it's all good.
Well, once again, we're chatting with Nick Hexum of 311 here on AM 1460. The new WXBR, the Nick Hexum Quintet, releases their album, My Shadow Pages, on October 1st. Nick, we thank you so much for joining us on the program today. We look forward to the release of the album. Should we head into break playing a particular song from the album? And if so, what song would you like us to play?
I'm excited about Supernatural. That's the single. And what's interesting about this song is it's based on the chord progression of a classical song written 200 years ago, Pachelbel's Canon in D, which is usually often associated with weddings, played at weddings. So the chords from that inspired the song, and then in the guitar solo at the end, you can hear the melody from that song played exactly, and then I go off and embellish it, but it's kind of cool. I've never tried to combine kind of a reggae, jazzy reggae groove with classical, so it's kind of a fresh sound in my opinion.
Well, Nick, we will play into break to that song. If you do come out to Brockton or to Boston with this project, we would love to have you join us in studio sometime. Are you going to be back in the van after going from the bus with 311 to being in the van playing smaller clubs with your solo project if you do end up touring, or is that just something that is not foreseeable just yet?
I would say that's highly likely. We're all about keeping it lean and mean, so probably in a van.
Well, we wish you the best of luck with this project, and we hope you have on the program again sometime. We'd love to have you in studio sometime.
All right. Thanks for having me. Take care.
That's Nick Hexum joining us here on AM 1460. The new WXBR will play out to the Nick Hexum Quintet, Supernatural.